Have you ever shared your life's most precious secret with someone you trusted completely? Someone who stood close to you, listened with sincerity, only for you to later wish you had stayed silent? Because one simple sentence changed everything in your life. We often believe that those who share the sweetness with us will never leave a bitter taste, and those who understand our passion will protect it from the storms outside. But sometimes the closest ears are not the safest, and the softest smiles hide the most careless hearts. A single word can burn down a career, turning pride into shame overnight. This is the story of Min, a baker who learned that lesson too late, when everything he built was nothing but broken pieces. In a quiet corner of a busy city, there was a man who spoke more with his hands than with his words. His name was Min. He was a baker who had spent most of his life inside the dust-covered walls of the small bakery his father left behind. Long before the city woke up, Min was there, washing his face with cold water, quietly tying his faded gray apron and burying his hands in heavy dough. His hands were always white with flour, his back ached like a stretched bow every night, but he rarely complained. He believed that honest labor was a blessing and silence was strength. Every morning followed the same rhythm, the soft sifting of flour, the steady kneading, and the patient waiting. He didn't use machines to rush time. Instead, he leaned in, almost holding his breath to listen to the dough rising slowly, a silent life taking shape. To him, bread was not just food, it was a treasure, a silent promise to his late father. But outside the warm oven, the air was cold. Debt bills piled up like a small mountain, and the terrifying silence of the empty shop was louder than any machine's scream. Among the few people Min trusted was Lam, a friend who often visited with a kind smile and deep questions. Min believed Lam truly cared. One evening, exhausted and desperate, Min confessed his secret. His bread was delicious, not because of strange spices, but because of a 36-hour manual fermentation process, laborious work that industrial machines could never replicate. He didn't speak with pride, but with honest fatigue and a flickering hope. He believed if someone understood the heart behind the crust, he would have the strength to keep the fire burning for one more day. Lam nodded and placed a hand on his shoulder, saying he understood. But what Min didn't know was that Lam enjoyed the feeling of being important, of having inside news. The next day, Lam spoke to a food blogger, intending to help Min become famous. But with each retelling, the truth began to bend. Long fermentation became using chemicals to preserve the dough. Father's secret became untraceable ingredients. As the hours passed, each person added a little fear, a little drama. By the end of the day, the story no longer belonged to Min. People called him a fraud. They said he poisoned their trust for money. The crowd's anger moved faster than Min's tired body ever could. Min didn't argue. He didn't explain. He quietly locked the faded door and left before the sun rose. As he passed the threshold he had known all his life, whispers and glares followed him like shadows. Years passed. Loneliness and oblivion covered the old shop in a thick layer of dust. One gray afternoon, Lam returned. Amidst the ruins he helped create, Lam found a small notebook buried under the ashes of the old oven. It was Min's father's diary. It read, "Son, the most precious recipe doesn't lie in skillful hands, but in patience. 36 hours of fermentation is not a number, it is love. Time is the only thing in this world that cannot be faked." Lam stood frozen. In his mind, he saw Min, the man who worked silently through the night, who waited for every grain of dough to rise with sacred devotion. Min hadn't used chemicals, he had used time. Lam had the truth now, but he had lost a friend forever, and the city had lost the scent of honesty. And so the story ends with a regret that can never be repaired. Min is gone, his place in the bakery now a hollow void. It teaches us that not everyone who listens actually cares, that words once spoken can never be taken back, and that sometimes silence is the strongest armor. Sharing your heart with the wrong person can turn sincerity into horror. Wisdom is not just knowing what to say, but knowing when to keep your most precious struggles safe within your heart.